50 Cent is clowning on Diddy after TMZ reported that he had been assigned laundry duty at Fort Dix.
Diddy is airing out dirty laundry for inmates. They said Sean Diddy Combs is being put to work behind bars, and his first federal prison job has him doing an old fluff and fold. That's probably what Diddy was ordering with those escorts. A fluff and fold special. Sources familiar with the situation tell us Diddy's first gig at Fort Dix in New Jersey plants him in the laundry room, washing and drying dirty clothes. Manual labor may come as a shock to Diddy. During his criminal trial, federal prosecutors claimed he couldn't even charge his own phone or fetch a bottle of water and would send his army of personal assistants to basically do everything for him.
Diddy has been transported to Fort Dix prison in New Jersey. According to reports by TMZ, Diddy is now washing dirty clothes. The same person who was once waited on hand and foot is now cleaning not just his own clothes, but also everyone else's. This might just be the first time in history that someone has gone from being a billionaire to being a maid. At the same time, Diddy has had to leave his rich taste behind and switch to something more homemade. Prison officials have confirmed that Diddy was caught drinking toilet wine or prison hooch.
Okay, to start with, toilet wine turns out is a misnomer. The toilet is mostly a hiding place, and God knows it is not really wine, right? And Sean Diddy Combs is not the first prison inmate to get busted with it, allegedly. But Diddy may be the first to have once owned a vodka brand worth upwards of $1 billion. That would be Ciroc, which sold officially earlier this year for a fraction of that price. Ciroc is distilled 5 times from the finest French grapes, or so it claims. Toilet wine, on the other hand, is a fermented combo of Fanta, sugar, and apples. And though there are many variations, they are all alcoholic, which is the point, and all strictly off limits in lockup. But TMZ is reporting that Diddy has been caught with the stuff, this week in fact. He did have a birthday on Tuesday and was going to be moved to a new unit apparently as punishment, but the officials changed their minds according to the report.
This mistake might just cost Diddy extra years on his sentence. The only reason he even went to Fort Dix in the first place was to get time off by joining their drug program. Fort Dix is one of the only prisons in the country that can take more than a year off an inmate's sentence if they successfully quit drugs. Did Diddy confirm during the trial that he was now sober for the first time in 25 years? Was that all a lie?
Yeah, so it's called hooch. Basically, it's different ways to make it. You can make it with orange peels. You can make it with sugar. It is all different ways. But what a lot of people don't know, and why it is serious in prison, it can blow up. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't let it breathe, as they say, it could actually be like a bomb. So it actually can blow up and everything will spray everywhere. But it can get you drunk, and it could also land you in the hole. So, I mean, I don't know as far as them saying he's going to move him out of the unit. I know it's a very serious ticket. I know he could lose his phone, he could lose commissary, and he could lose visits, and also maybe go to the SHU for up to 30 days or maybe more.
So, I mean, that's all serious stuff. I keep wondering about the sentence. Do you not think it's possible, especially since he campaigned, in his sentencing, that he was getting sober? He'd been working, on a sobriety at the MDC. And now he's at Fort Dix. And if this is true, if the report's true, might they say, well, screw it. You're not getting your 15% off your federal sentence?
Right, so it don't work like that, but every ticket in the feds, if it's a certain degree ticket, you will lose some good time. We call it good time. In New York State and federal prison is two different. You could actually lose your good time in New York State or any state prison and get your good time back. The feds, once you lose it, you can't get it back. So if he does lose 20 days, 40 days for this, he cannot get it back. Or whatever they recommend for him to lose, because they will recommend days to be lost on this kind of ticket.
Ex-inmates have even confirmed that Diddy was most probably buying this hooch from other inmates and paying them to make it for him. Diddy's birthday was last week, and allegedly this hooch was part of the celebration. This is the second birthday that Diddy has had to spend behind bars. From his behavior, it's clear that Diddy is starting to break.
It takes a while to make. It's not just an overnight thing. This takes days to make it. And remember, it smells really bad, so you have to have a good hiding spot. It's very strong.
Oh, it does smell. Okay, so that's the other thing.
Yes.
So the toilet tank is why you're hiding it from the view of the guards, not necessarily
Right.
the temperature of the toilet tank is, optimal for the fermentation of the lovely hooch,
Right.
But so they put it in the toilet tank, and then how does the toilet tank fill up with water to flush? You pull it out, do your business, and flush, and then put it back in?
Yes. So, like I said, these people that usually do make it are very good at it, and they actually charge to make it. So in prison, in federal prison, everything's a business. So he probably paid somebody to actually hold that in their cell and make it for his birthday. I guess it was his birthday that came up, and they will make this alcohol beverage for you. But what's confusing to me is that when you're in the feds, usually there's a crooked CO that'll just bring you in an actual bottle of vodka. So I don't know why they even made it.
Serious?
Yes. Yes.
Dang. Okay.
Yes.
So the whole thing you just said about them selling the toilet wine, I feel like Diddy wouldn't have to buy it. There'd be a lot of people who'd want to be friends with Diddy, and they'd be handing it over. Really?
No, they know how much money he has. Everybody's so happy that he's in the jail right now because they see currency. So all they're doing right now is going up to his cell and trying to sell him everything that they have possible. Actually, trying to get on salary with him to make his bed, clean his cell, go extra shopping for him, extra phone calls, cell phones, anything they can. They're all going to his cell trying to sell something to him because they know he has money. They do it to everybody with money in those jails.
The interesting thing is that hooch isn't the only thing Diddy is paying for in prison. Most likely, he has also talked to other inmates about protection and other services. Fort Dix is a low-security prison, and if Diddy is willing to pay, there's a lot of merchandise he can smuggle in. There are even inmates who would be willing to take the blame for any crimes Diddy might commit while inside, in exchange for money.
He's only being paid 23 cents an hour. This is nothing to him. He thinks he's too good. And the fact that the Bureau of Prisons put him on laundry duty, I don't know. I feel like, plus, isn't it? I don't know. I feel like somebody in the Bureau of Prisons is literally having a key. I think the laundry job is the Bureau of Prisons way of saying, congratulations, you're welcome, come in here. You ain't no better than anybody else. Now get to work. All right?
Diddy's team is alleging that nothing actually happened, and the prison hooch story is completely false. At the same time, however, they're also saying that if Diddy does make any mistakes, it's part of his personal journey. Diddy's exact account even addressed the situation in a now-deleted tweet. The tweet read, "The rumors claiming Mr. Combs was caught with alcohol are completely false. His only focus is becoming the best version of himself and returning to his family."
Sean Diddy Combs is setting the record straight about his life behind bars, following a report that said the rap mogul, who is serving a 4-year sentence for 2 prostitution-related convictions, was caught drinking homemade alcohol in prison. His spokesperson emphatically denies the allegation, telling People magazine in a statement published November 9th, "There have been several false and reckless reports circulating about Mr. Combs. He has not violated any prison rules. His sobriety and self-discipline are priorities, and he is taking them seriously." The 56-year-old was recently transferred to a low-security correctional facility in New Jersey after spending over a year at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. At the new institution, he was alleged to have created a mixture of Fanta, sugar, and apples, which ferments into alcohol after 2 weeks, TMZ reported. The spokesperson continues, "This is only his first week at FCI Fort Dix, and unfortunately, rumors will surface throughout his time there. We ask the public and press to give him the benefit of the doubt, the privacy to focus on his personal growth, and the grace to move forward in peace."
This came as a shock to no one. Gene actually predicted this months ago, back when Diddy was crying about how he was a changed man and had started going to rehab. Gene said that everything Diddy was doing was a lie designed to make him look innocent. Diddy doesn't regret any of his actions, and the fact that he was buying alcohol just proves this.
I don't give a flying F about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a facade. It's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He had enough money way before he got to jail. If he wanted to do something to get himself right, to get off drugs, he could have got the best doctors. You understand? He could have gotten the best treatment facility. If he wanted to stop beating women, he could have got some psychological help. He could have bought the best that money could buy. So all this shit is just to get his sorry ass out to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it usually helps. How many times you ever seen a leper change his spots? He only taking those programs, bro, to get out of jail. And I don't, most people do that. I don't blame him. But he ain't gonna change, man. You understand? Because he know he got away with a whole lot of shit. Ain't no way those 27, those 30-something people, got up there on the stand, testify. You heard the testimony. You heard what they did. You understand? And he got away with murder, bro. Practically. He got away with murder, man. So he ain't gonna change. In his eyes, he won. Even though he did a year or so behind the bars, in his eyes, he won.
Diddy not being allowed to drink was part of his release conditions. The judge knew that Diddy hadn't changed and wanted to keep an eye on his drug use. As part of his release, Diddy is required to join a drug rehabilitation program.
Yeah, so look, a lot of these conditions sound pretty harsh, but they're pretty standard. Things, as you mentioned, like no contact with victims, also no contact with other criminals, no access to firearms, also unsupervised, or drop-in visits from probation officers at any time, mandatory employment. So many of these are standard. But what I do think is notable is the addition of required treatment programs. And it's not just one, right? It is domestic violence, but also drug abuse and also mental health. The reason why it's so notable is because we all remember the defense described this as a modern love story. And even though Combs was acquitted of the most egregious charges, it's really a message from the court saying there's really still something that is not right here. There's treatment that is required. There's issues that need to be resolved.
Now, at the same time, Diddy is telling inmates that if they work for him and keep him safe, he's going to help their careers grow. TMZ reported that Diddy was bragging to inmates about a pardon and how he would take care of all of them once he's outside. Diddy is doing this because, frankly, he has nothing else to offer the inmates and needs to bribe them into taking his side.
So Diddy, the baby oil booty bandit, is in Fort Dix prison right now, bragging that Donald Trump is going to pardon him at the beginning of next year. So in case you didn't catch it, Diddy was sentenced to 50 months in prison. He already had like 13 in. That means that he could be out within like 2 years. But he's in prison right now telling his bunkmates, that he's going to be getting a pardon at the beginning of next year from Donald Trump. And that once he gets out, he's going to take care of them. Now, Donald Trump has not said anything about actually pardoning Diddy. He said that if he was given a crazy sentence, that he would consider it if he felt like he was done really wrong. But as far as anybody in the public knows, there hasn't been any type of pardon or deal or offer offered up to Diddy. However, Donald Trump does have a long-standing history of pardoning famous rappers. This is also the exact type of weird games that convicts will play when they're in prison to get protection or to stay safe or to be able to hustle up what they need in there. I'm gonna be out real soon and I'm gonna take real good care of you.
I know is everything that I read in that article looked accurate.
Well, look, that's probably some relief to Diddy's team, And
I don't know. I think they're moving ahead. I don't think anybody is counting on anything, and
right.
I think the reporting was accurate.
How did you hear he's faring since the sentencing?
I don't know. I mean, I hopefully we'll see him soon and find out.
I guess lastly, I would ask, what do you think his future looks like?
I have the utmost confidence in Sean. I think Sean will make a comeback, the likes of which people are not expecting. So I've watched him. I've known him for a long time. I have the utmost confidence in him.
In whatever sphere. I mean, he's done business, the music,
he's iconic
the fashion.
in a lot of ways, and I think he'll make a comeback. I'll leave it at that.
Diddy learned his lesson about staying away from danger back at the MDC after he was targeted twice in just a matter of months. Allegedly, just before he left for Fort Dix, Diddy woke up to a knife to his throat and would have been in danger if it weren't for a nearby corrections officer. This is the second time something like this has happened, and it only shows how dangerous prison really is for someone like Diddy.
Diddy, obviously just starting out his time, well, not just starting out, but starting out his official sentence since being sentenced not too long ago. And I think suffice to say, it's not going well so far.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got 4 years and change that he's going to ultimately have to serve, although he has served already a year as he awaited his trial and then went through his trial. So ultimately probably he was going to serve about 2.5 years or so, but it's still serious time that he's going to have to serve. And he has already, at least if you listen to people close to Diddy, been the victim of violence behind bars. So there was an incident that we first learned about about 2 weeks ago during Diddy's sentencing hearing, and he said, I was sleeping in my bed in the prison. It's a federal detention facility in Brooklyn called MDC Brooklyn, and there are federal inmates who are in many cases waiting for their trial as well. And Diddy claimed that somebody held a knife to his throat. He woke up and this guy basically had him, and he had the knife, and Diddy was at this person's mercy. Now, it's unclear what exactly happened from there. Was there a guard that came in? Did Diddy somehow fight this person off? Well, it seems unlikely that happened. Or did the person just leave? Bottom line, this guy, at least according to people close to Diddy and Diddy himself, could have hurt him badly or even taken his life. And I think that was something they wanted known during the hearing because they wanted the judge to take some pity on Diddy. It probably didn't help ultimately because he does get the 4+ year sentence. But again, this just is something that is the reality of life for Diddy right now. It's a guy who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars who is now living in a prison cell and will be at least, again, for the next 2.5 years or so.
Some other inmates have a more twisted idea of justice and have been trying to give Diddy a taste of his own medicine. One of Diddy's lawyers said that the biggest threat Diddy is facing is actually assault. Diddy might be rich, but the fact that he's targeted for his dealings with women doesn't sit right with inmates. Criminals know that women don't survive long in prison, and Diddy knows this.
Are you concerned Sean Diddy Combs could be assaulted, violently assaulted, because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing?
Yeah, it clearly is a thing.
Welcome to the Two Angry Men podcast. Mark, Diddy is going to spend definitely 2+ years in a federal prison. I just want to lay this out right now. He is a target because they talked about this in court. They said somebody tried to shank him already, and that he is a big target. Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
One of Diddy's friends, and that's why the story is kind of has gotten a little bit more attention now today, because one of Diddy's friends has come out and spoken about it as well. And it according to the friend, it sounds like the guy said something to the effect of, "I could hurt you at any time," in a little bit of more threatening language, but said something along in that vein. And it does seem like it was an intimidation tactic, and it sounds like the guy could have obviously, again, hurt Diddy very badly, but chose not to for whatever reason. But saying, "I can get to you if I want to," and you've got to imagine that's an incredibly disconcerting feeling then for Diddy to not feel safe behind bars where he's got nobody there, he's by himself, and to know that somebody could get you at any moment has got to be really scary.
Pictures taken from inside Fort Dix prove that Diddy has been trying to arrange protection. TMZ obtained images that show Diddy hanging out with gang members and smiling. These are the same people Diddy has been bribing with the chance to build a career, and probably the only reason Diddy hasn't been attacked yet. 50 Cent even trolled Diddy by posting these images on his IG with the caption, "He looks happy with those handsome men around."
Probably the biggest troll in the rap game, man.
Oh my gosh,
it's
yes.
Diddy's birthday, November 4th.
Oh, yeah, man.
Today.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Yes.
And he happens to put up a post of him, and, there were some pictures released of Diddy on the yard with a couple other prisoners. Mm-hmm. Crazy to see prisoners, right?
Yeah. You know, he had Bad Boy East, Bad Boy West. That's Bad Boy Prisons.
Yeah. But he put up a picture of those pictures, and he said, "He looked too happy to me." with all them handsome men around. Good morning, New York City.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Dude, how does 50 get away with this?
I don't know.
Because we were talking about, man, 50 don't lose any brand deals. He don't lose any endorsements. He can walk in and sell TV shows.
Oh, yes.
You know, he can be in the boardroom and also be petty as hell, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Even when he sat down with us, he kind of explained a little bit about him and Diddy and the beef.
I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do.
Right.
And make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have that thing where, we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
I still don't understand.
And we wasn't doing that.
I was still trying to figure out, you do a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot.
You do a lot.
And the uncomfortable part was when he was talking to the Breakfast Club. And he was mentioning how Diddy wanted to take him shopping.
He said something fabulous, and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out. No, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Diddy is using his money to bend prison to his will. The other inmates at Fort Dix know that Diddy has money, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get some of it for themselves. They know that sooner or later, Diddy is going to get out. And if they manage to get close to him, this could prove very beneficial.
You know, the overriding factor there, I believe, is he's a guy with a lot of money. And I'll tell you, this happened to me when I went in there because of the profile I had, because of the way they wrote me up. You know, I had everybody and their brother inmate trying to do a deal with me when I got out, a business deal. They need money. Because of the fact that he's a money guy, I think he's going to have more friends than he will enemies. And in a medium security, normally nobody's looking to shank you. When you get into the higher institutions, when people are doing, a ton of time and there's no way you can benefit them, then you got a little more problem. But in a medium security, I don't think he'll have an issue at all. I really don't. He can be too much of a benefit to inmates that are always looking for something. And he could be a golden ticket for some people, at least in their mind.
Diddy is appealing his conviction. His legal team confirmed almost a month ago that they believe Diddy should be let go, as his sentence is too long. A federal judge has now confirmed that a hearing will happen, and Diddy's conviction and sentence will both be discussed. The chances of Diddy actually getting away from this, however, are pretty slim. After all, no one really thinks someone with over 20 years of crime should be let go.
Diddy has been granted a major legal win. A federal judge has approved his request to accelerate his appeal of conviction and sentence. His team will now submit their opening brief by December 23rd, with the prosecution due to submit theirs by February 20th, 2026. Additionally, the prosecution and defense is set to begin their arguments in April of 2026. This move could affect potential sentence reductions under federal programs, making this move especially significant.
In New York City, we are hearing Diddy's attorneys speaking to the media after he was sentenced earlier today. This is live.
Yeah, we are planning to appeal.
Man, I want to hear them, bro.
We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion. And I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional. Yeah. We think that a jury verdict should mean more than our jury's verdict seems to mean. And so we are planning to appeal.
Mr. Ruffalo, if the prosecution files a cross appeal, what would happen in that regard if they filed a cross appeal and then could Sean Diddy Combs get a higher sentence?
He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not gonna cross appeal. We're gonna appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as.
Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the sentencing.
Consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual.
Because he's biased.
What did you make of his remarks?
He's biased. If anyone, I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no trafficking. There was no racketeering. Everything was consensual. Everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror,
Yes,
one
he
that we
did.
did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict.
Well, at least the judge was open-minded. At least
Diddy's real problems are going to start once he's out. Diddy is on supervised release for 5 years and will be subject to random drug inspections. If the officers find that Diddy has been engaging in any criminal behavior, he's going to be sent back to prison. Diddy knows this, but he still chose to start drinking again. This just shows how much self-control Diddy actually has.
He's now tagged with 2 felonies. He's not free to go about and do what he wants to do. For the next, 89 months or thereabouts, he's going to be under the control of the federal government. And that's no little thing for a guy like this. So here's what supervised release is going to be like for him. It'll be intense at first. They'll drug test him. They'll put monitoring software on his devices. They will, they'll have constant meetings and check-ins and that kind of thing once he gets out of prison. And as time goes on and he demonstrates compliance, the supervision will get less and less intense. Probably to the point where he just has to call in once in a while. But if you get too complacent and all of a sudden, you don't register, or all of a sudden, porn's an addiction, right? And, if you're looking at porn all the time, guess what? It's tough to stop that. It just is. And I've known clients that have, violated their conditions over and over again, and they wind up going back to prison. And, the first violation could be like 18 months. The second violation could be this, or he could be demonstrating such good compliance that he gets off early, which happens quite often. Okay, well, now that but he still has to register as a sex offender. He still has to do all these different things. Even after he's off of supervised release, he'll still have to register. And if he goes to Miami, because his home's in New York, he's got to check in with the local sheriff and say, hey, offender in town, that's what he got to do. This is not an easy thing for him to have to deal with down the road. But is it life in prison? No, it's not. Is it 20 years in prison? No, it's not. Is it even 10 years? No, it's not. But it's still going to be something he has to deal with. So it's no little thing that he is part of this community of people that have to be supervised, and he gave the government a big foray into controlling his life. And that's what happens when you decide to break the law.
It also looks like this isn't the last time Diddy might be doing small-time jobs like laundry. As part of his release agreement, Diddy is required to work in the community. If the parole officer decides that he doesn't like Diddy's job as CEO, Diddy might actually be collecting trash on the side of the road.
We also know that Diddy is going to be required to work 30 hours a week upon his release. Do we know if that's he can just do whatever he wants? He's the owner, obviously, of a company, CEO. Or is this something that the state or the courts are going to mandate?
So this is interesting. It is pretty standard, and the legal language is work conscientiously at suitable employment. So that doesn't mean that the government can tell him what job to do, but it does mean that the probation officer can veto what he chooses. And the real point here is access and rehabilitation and not a lot of free time, requiring structure. So given that his employment is generally self-employment and a lot of free time, it's not clear here how the probation officer will respond to that, what sort of restrictions they will put. But yeah, the probation officer can say, this is not okay, too much free time on your hands.
Diddy's first mugshot has also been released. And let's just say, prison has not been kind to him. His hair is gray, and it's clear that Diddy is going through it. The stress of constant surveillance, prison politics, and the fear of being targeted has completely changed his appearance. People who saw the photo said he looked drained, anxious, and nothing like the person he used to be.
Diddy's mugshot has been released, and he also got in trouble for making three-way calls. CBS just did this new bombshell article, and they got their hands on court documents that even included Diddy's first mugshot since he's been arrested. But they also found out shortly after Diddy went to Fort Dix, he had got in trouble for making three-way calls. Which is actually crazy because we know that TMZ just ran the story that Diddy allegedly got caught drinking at Fort Dix also. But in a now deleted Twitter post, Diddy Diddy's PR person wrote that the rumors claiming that Mr. Combs was caught with alcohol are completely false. His only focus is becoming the best version of himself and returning to his family. But now we are knowing from court docs from CBS that Diddy did get in trouble for making three-way calls shortly after he made it to Fort Dix. And what's crazy is Diddy got in trouble for doing this when his whole case started. Shortly after Diddy was arrested, he was caught in the MDC making three-way calls. So he knows it's something that he's not supposed to be doing. Within a few days of Diddy's arrival at Fort Dix prison, he found himself in trouble. He made a 3-person phone call on November 3rd in violation of prison rules. He told officials it was a conversation with his legal team about issuing a statement to the New York Times.
Diddy's fall from billionaire luxury to prison laundry duty is getting messier by the day. And if this is how things look now, imagine what the next few months will bring. This story is only getting darker, and we're tracking every update as it unfolds. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on everything happening inside Fort Dix and beyond, make sure you hit subscribe, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next.